Okay, today we are going to look at the one iPhone 7. Okay, this device has been into many shops before. They cannot repair it. So what's the problem? It is the baseband issue. Okay, so when we don't see the image is here, means the baseband is not working. When baseband is not working, when you don't have the image, you cannot activate the phone. Okay, the Apple is not gonna let you activate the phone like this exactly. So we have to fix the baseband in order to be fully functional again. Now we look at the board condition. It seems terrible. Even the sticker here is cut, the shield has been taken off. To be honest, I don't have much high hope if I see that touch mess up with too many things. Okay. Especially baseband repair, I really don't want to see them to change the thing that don't have the problem. You know, they're blindly to replace the things. So whatever it is, I need to show you my SOP. So the first SOP is plug in to power supply, and then to see what kind of response you have. Okay, make sure nothing short. I need to see the needle. How it draw the current. Is there anything short?
So first jump is really important. Okay, the first jump is normal. It's about 100 mA and then it goes press again. Okay, it is normal.
So the next step is plug in only the LCD and my flags to restore it. Since the device has been repaired by many hands, maybe they missed something. Even the plug and play parts such as the GPS flags or even the charger port can cause the baseband to fail. Okay. And then they already restored the phone, so I can try to restore again. Every time we fix something related to the baseband, we need to restore the phone, especially when the owner or the technician restore the phone when the baseband is not working. We need to restore again. Now I need to look at the preview. We see the image is showing NA, so image is missing. Let's restore the phone.
Why I'm using this kind of software to restore the phone instead of the iTunes? Because in the middle of the process, there's a step where he flashing the firmware, you know, the modern firmware. And in the meantime, I will also watching how the power supply will draw while it is flashing the baseband. So this is the part where the iTunes is updating the baseband firmware. Okay, and you can see there's an error. Device didn't accept baseband data. This is the part where he's flashing the modern firmware.
Okay, so now we are sure none of the plug and play plugs is causing the problem. So the next step, I will remove the CPU shield and to check what thing they touched before. So in the preview, it's still showing no image. Absolutely normal. Okay, see, problem still same. So the next step, I will remove the CPU shield and to check everything that related to the baseband. After I remove the shield, so the first thing I'm gonna inspect must be the baseband CPU itself. This is CPU and this is the baseband CPU. Okay, why? Because the SOP is different when I'm fixing somebody mess. Because they say they attempt to repair but fail. Okay, I need to know whether did they remove this or not. So luckily they haven't. Okay, the glue is still here.
So behind here, I see there's some flags, and there's a green UV here. Let's see, okay. There's a UV glue in this area. I believe they try to do the jumper to putting the foreground together. And by the way, this is not the solution, you know. I believe they try to copy whatever the solution from the internet, you know, but they don't know what it is for. So that one is not the solution. Of course, it is not helping. Okay, they do it for a reason. I will explain in later.
And I don't know why they cut the shield, and seems they already replaced these two IC, or maybe rebuilt. You see there's some skin is lost there. Okay, well, they even tried to change the transceiver IC. Okay, so from this point, I already know they don't have the training to repair the things. Okay, they're blindly to replace the things. I will clean up some of their flux.
You know, I'm gonna look for the things like this. Okay, this is the thing I don't want to see, you know. This is what we call overheated. When you overheated the board, the component will start to have a ball like this, spill ball.
If I see this, I very worry behind, because I'm afraid they're overheated, and then the things that come with the glue, they will come loose.
And from this area, I didn't see any spill ball like that, so it seems the baseband CPU is unaffected, hopefully.
So the next SOP, you know already, if you watch my video. Normally I will take this out and then measure the resistance inside.
So first I'm gonna to randomly measure the capacitor that is surrounding the PBPMU. Okay, baseband power IC. Like this, buzzering mode or diode mode, up to you. I will use buzzering mode first. So this one ground is absolutely normal. There shouldn't be have sound in other side. Okay, so capacitor only one side have ground. Okay, so so I can see this is the ground because it is closer to the zero, and this is not. Okay, this is absolutely not normal when this point is have sound and it's very close to the ground. So let's change to the diode mode and measure here. This guy is a 0009. It's not normal. So the ground should be completely zero, and this is really close to the ground, 0009. It should be few hundred, you know. This line. Let's compare the other board. So I have another good board here. So the resistance of this guy is 200. Okay. So he should be 200. If you put in the buzzer mode, it doesn't have any sound at all. So this line is short. I will look at the schematic to see what kind of line is it. Okay, so this guy. So as we can see, it is a PP1V0, means 1.0 voltage. SMP S5, okay. SMP line, okay. I do have a solution for this, just in case this is not the capacitor problem, okay. So whatever it is, we need to use thermocam and do a jumper and then put a 1.0 volt in this line, okay. Inject a 1.0 to see maybe it is come from one of the cap that is shorted, okay. This is the cap that in behind here, and in the front there's two cap and there's a coin, Last one is the baseband CPU itself. Okay, hopefully this is not a problem, because according my experience, we do have this kind of issue. Okay, baseband CPU itself damaged. By the way, the ground, the jumper, actually is not a solution. You know? It is the prevention. Okay, because if the power IC is losing the ground, because if not every ground is useless, you know, don't see it is duplicated and then you think it is not useful. You know, some of the ground, when it is broken, it will short the IC. It will cause the IC to damage.
Okay. Do not inject more than 1.0 because it might damage further. Okay, we don't want to kill the baseband CPU. Okay, we see there's nothing heat up in this side. Okay, nothing heat up in this side. What about the other side? Okay, there's a heat in the baseband CPU in this area. You can see there's a slightly heat from there. Okay, that's the problem. And we look at the capacitor that's beside the coin there. Yeah, nothing. Okay, let's do the blinking style. Turn it off, turn it on, off, on. So you can see the heat is come from there. Let's do one more time again. Okay, this guy is the problem.
If you try to do this trade, make sure you are injecting the voltage and calling the schematic. You know, if it is saying 1.0, do not go beyond 1.0. You might damage it further, because in this kind of scenario, you might think cannot be repaired, right? You still can be repaired, you know. This is why they give up.
You know, I can understand why they give up. You know, they see the CPU baseband short, so they don't proceed to repair it. Okay, so luckily they didn't do that. It is really useless if you do that, because it is not the board issue, it is the baseband CPU issue. And I believe every one of you already know, baseband CPU cannot be replaced. Okay, it is only one device, one baseband CPU. I mean, one device, only one iMac. Okay, baseband CPU come with iMac. So you cannot use other iMac on this phone. You know, the Apple is not going to allow you to replace another iMac to this. Okay, so I'm gonna do a custom solution here. Okay, because this line is called SMT. SMT is mean switch mode power supply. SMTS, you know. I will explain it in later if I success. Okay, let's try the solution here. So the first step, I will use I think 2.2K resistor.
So I have to make sure this guy, by using arms mode, to make sure it is 2.2K. Okay, so 2.18 means 2.2. Okay, so I will use this guy.
We'll put in the side. The next step,
I'm gonna look at anything that is closest to PP 1.0, you know. So as we can see, there's 0.95, 1.0, another LDO 1.0 in here. We cannot use that because it still comes from the same baseband power IC. So the closest I got is, I think, is the RAM. Let's type the SD RAM. So you see I have a 1.1. Okay, even it is over 0.1, it will be okay. So measuring. Okay, got it. 2.2K. Okay, so this is done.
But the resistance is not going to change, okay? They are still close to the ground, as you can see. Okay, it is still 0 to 0 now. But the RAM size is still the same, 138. Okay, make sure you're using the higher K value to protect the RAM, because this generation of RAM is not easy to be removed like the 6S and older model. This generation of the iPhone need to drill the RAM, take off by force. That's why I need to have a 2.2K, it's better than use 1K, I believe you guys watched my last video, 6S Plus, right? There's a video 6S Plus, I'm using 1K. And I'm using 1.8 power from SDRAM, right? Okay. So now I should do the restore again.
Okay, we are going to restore it again in order to get back the modem firmware. Okay, as we can see, this part it says sending baseband data. There's no more error showing in here. It says warning, unable to find BB key ID. No, this one don't worry about it. It is absolutely normal in this message when he is flashing the baseband. Okay, so means the solution is a success. Okay, so as we can see, the IMEI is back. Okay, so now click on this, see, MEID, IMEI, all back.
So I'm gonna block this to show you under the microscope what I haven't done. The resistance will remain the same, it's not going to be changed. See, this is 008. Okay. So in this point, you can either leave it like this or you can put it aside, stand by for future use, okay, just in case the owner update the phone or restore the phone and end up the same problem.
Okay, modem firmware. Okay, done. So after you watch this, do not apply this solution without the same symptoms, Okay, this is a custom-made solution for specific problem. Okay, the problem I have is SMPS line, which is switch mode power supply. This line he can switch to a different voltage, let's say 1.0, 0.95, 0.8, like this.
I will explain it in later if I success. Just in case you don't know, before I do this guy still have the voltage because
the baseband power IC is the one who provides the voltage and he doesn't have any problem. Only the baseband CPU itself is the problem.
Because I want to see whether the power IC need to be replaced or not. You know, I don't know what they have done on it. Okay, first I need to power up the device.
So the device is turning on. Measure the power. You see there's a 1.0 in here. Okay, this is a switch mode, so he will be dropping encoding what the CPU tell him. So all the okay, seems the power IC is working. Okay, baseband power IC is working. I don't need to reboot or take it out to see. So it is keeping 1.0 and okay, it is not hot in here, so it still can be repaired. Okay, turn this off. I'm going to compare the normal board. As we can see, sometimes it's 1.0, sometimes it's 0.95, and he will change encoding what the baseband CPU tell him. So now it's 0.78. So this line has many different voltage. That is absolutely normal. It's designed like this because it says it's SMP, you know. Sometimes it will be off itself also. So this is the normal condition. Okay. So let me make you easy to understand. I will put this into imagination. Let's say the process of flashing the baseband, okay, he needs the 1.0 to be enabled in that time. And you know that line is already damaged, so if it is possible, the BB CPU cannot tell the BB PMU to give him this kind of power. So this is why if I give him a 1.0 power all the time and I refresh again, it will go through. After we're done, we can even take it off because in order the baseband to be working, it doesn't always need 1.0, you know. And what about the side effect? Okay, actually you cannot say have a side effect because it is already have a problem before our hand. The baseband PMU is close to the short, but when I touch it, it's not that hot, but for sure it will drain more power than the usual. So even I don't do that kind of jumper, it will still drain the power. I believe if you compare the normal iPhone side by side, you can notice the difference, but you won't notice the difference if you don't compare it like that. So this is why I say do not apply any solution that you can find in the internet, you know. Especially the things that done, the ground, the jumper, the foreground together, okay? So I had this kind of issue before, but that time I confirmed the middle of the two packs is not enough ground. So what does it mean? That time when I measure it, it only have about 50 or 60 value on that. So it should be 0, you know, the ground should be 0. That's why you see some of the technicians, they will do that kind of jumper for it because we really have that kind of problem. And don't expect if you learn these all schematic things, you will know how to fix everything. It is not like that, you know. Sometimes we need to refer the other models of the schematic or even refer to the IC schematic. Even for me, there are still many labels that I don't know what's that meaning. Because the Apple didn't make the schematic for us easy to read, you know, especially the outsider like me and you. But I do know what kind of line will need what kind of measurement to check it. and what happens when it is missing or broken. This is why when I teach the theory, I only explain the useful things, All I need to do is just open your mind so you can do your own research. Some of the things you really need to know how it works in order to create a custom solution like this. But I can see some of the schools that try to trick people with a lot of schematic knowledge, but most of them are useless, unnecessary information. Later, the student will find out he cannot fix the simple problem because it's too much useless information they learn. Eventually, they started to remove the IC blindly. My teaching style is more focused on how you earn the money in the shortest time. So all I need to do is open your mind and tell you how I figure this out. So then you can do your own research. You can even develop your own skill based on my foundation. As long as you have someone to open your mind, how he figured this out, how he got this, what's the resource, you just need to understand these kind of things and then you can become my level. I think enough for the sharing because if I continue to talk, it will be endless. Bye.